Here is the story of Monroe Stevens, a native of Florida who migrated to Waterloo in the late 1940s in search of employment. Stevens got a job at John Deere and later Rath Packing Company, where he retired. While working at Rath, he noticed the discriminatory hiring practices by the factory. These practices placed African Americans in the dirtiest and hardest departments in the factory. He took action by joining the union and becoming an officer. His work in the union positioned him to be involved in local politics and raise awareness about the importance of voting within the African American community. He participated in other local organizations that sought to improve conditions for African Americans in the community. Where and when were you born?
I was born in Florida, Gadsden County, Florida.
Okay.
Which is the city is Quincy, Florida, 1926, May 15.
1926?
Yeah.
Okay, Quincy, Florida.
I'm sorry. March 15, 1926, when I was born.
What was your first job in Florida? What was your first
Well, my first job in Florida, I worked at Phillip Construction, building equipment that they supply building materials.
Okay, all right.
So that for as lumber, sheetrock, bricks, blocks, and all like that. I worked there until I was 17 and a half years old. Well, I went off in service,
Okay, so you're at the shipyard, you're doing that. Then you're going to the service. What time was this? You're going to what branch of the service did you go into?
I went into the Navy.
Into the Navy.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you drafted?
Yeah, I was.
You were drafted.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so tell me about that. Tell me a little bit about what year was this?
That well, I was drafted in 1943, and it was all right, but I got out because of I had a bad knee. See, and I guess that they didn't have time to repair knees back in then.
Okay.
So I had a bad knee, and so that's when I got out. I didn't stay there too long. I got out. And
when you came to Waterloo, what was happening? What was going through your mind, and what would you do?
I went to John Deere's, and I put an application for no job.
Okay.
Something to do while I'm here. I did that. So that, in fact, I put an application. In fact, they hired me the same day.
The same day. Okay, this is good. Okay.
Yeah, the same day I put an application.
This makes Waterloo appealing to you, huh?
Yeah. So that's good. So that after my first and second check, it looked good, and so I said, well, you got to make a home somewhere.
Okay.
So why not here? See what I mean? Okay.
How long would you be out at John Deere, and what was your role out there? What was your?
Well, so my first role was out there was I drove trucks. My second role was out there. I was pouring iron.
Okay.
I poured iron.
All right.
And when I left Deere's, I was working in the mill room, chipping and grinding still.
You was in the mill room, huh?
Yeah, mill room, chipping and grinding. Right. Deere's was really a nice place to work at that time, but they laid off. I was there 6.5 years, and I bet you I was laid off 2-3 years of those 6.5 years I was there.
Oh man, okay.
And especially when a man got a family, man got kids, and then I had to do something different.
Okay.
So I went to Rath and got a job.
I know you were in the union.
Yeah.
You were a union employee. You were very active.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a leader. You were in leadership roles. You were an officer.
Yeah.
In fact, let's talk about that.
Well, I was department steward, and I was steward captain of my department, and so I was See, when you get your steward captain, and the next to you, I was assistant divisional steward, and also I was a divisional steward on the end. When RAS closed, I was division steward at that time.
Okay.
See, when RAS closed.
You're a union official, and I know that you had to deal with a whole lot of racism and discrimination,
Believe it.
things like that. So I'm quite sure this is where you've done a lot of your work.
Yeah.
Give me two examples. Give me two examples where you had to come in and deal with some racial discrimination.
When I started at RAS, that I think it was something like 50-some department was lily white.
Okay.
No blacks, no blacks in there.
Okay. All right.
So when the union did start to cracking down on race,
Okay.
then that there was a situation that they turned around, the affirmative action situation pushed the women's in the same category that the black male. So that's made the white woman, black woman, all was in the minority. See?
Okay. All right.
So therefore, it's that the white males still had the upper hand.
Okay.
On the minorities, because that his wife could get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I applied for it. They said, okay, we got a minority into that job. See what I mean? That they was classified as they're minorities. See?
I know that they were real. The union always encouraged its African American officers, to be active in the community.
Yeah.
They encouraged it. In fact, they supported it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically of an article in the Courier, the UPWA Local 46 Life membership of NAACP. This Local 46 is you. This is the union that you're affiliated with.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that article and it's why the NAACP, why the membership?
They was willing and glad to be a part of the NAACP because that they sent a life membership check. I presented the check to the NAACP committee, and I received the plaques.
How does the union benefit from this?
I think the union really benefit because anything happened in the community that it was a racial situation, then the union had a right to step in because they had money in the pots, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So what they say, put your mouth where your money, their money was there, and so that they could speak too, I wouldn't say that they wouldn't try to change any policy of the NAACP, but they would get behind the NAACP and whatever that they can do to encourage them to move forward. That they would do that.
Okay, the union, they're encouraging you to be active in your community and also to be very political. Very political, and this is good. And you would become very political. In your prime, you to be out there making things happen in the community. You and Jimmy Porter working side by side, making things happen. And I'm thinking specifically, let's talk a little bit about the article by the Courier that talks about, it's a title, the article is titled, Stevens to Head East Citizen Units. Okay, that's the article that's in the Courier.
We organized the East Side, was just the East Side Citizen Committee. This thing come about to Mrs. Ada Treadwell that really spearhead this thing to organize a committee that we can look in on the voters registration, voters education, and we can choose that who we run in our neighborhoods. This committee was instrumental on electing Jim Jackson to this legislature. Also that we...
During what time was this about, roughly?
It was in the 60s. Getting Jim Jackson to the legislature, getting Dr. Harvey to the school board. I was told that we wasn't going to let anybody in the ivory tower dictate to us in the black jungles, you know what I mean?
Okay, all right.
If he or she wanted our votes, they got to come down and let us decide whether that we wanted to, you know,
okay.
This is our choice.
So you're leading this, okay.
Yeah.
This is good.
And
okay.
so I think that committee served a great purpose during the time that it was, let me see.
Okay, all right.
So.
And that's just one of the many things you begin to do politically. Because
yes.
I know that, in fact, I have, there's another article, actually, it's from the Miami paper, where here you are attending the Democratic, the National Democratic Convention in Florida. Again, here you are, you and Jimmy Porter, making things happen. Kind of tell me about how you got involved in that and actually what happened, what became of it.
The National Committee man, which is Robert Fulton, he was a delegate.
Okay.
And so that he come down with back trouble a little bit before the convention.
Okay.
And he was confined to the hospital.
Okay.
And he couldn't go. So that he called me up to his hospital room that night. I went up to his hospital room the night before we left here, and he told me that by the time I get to Miami Beach, I'd be an active delegate from the state of Iowa.
Okay.
And so that when I got to Miami, I don't know, we were so tore up when we got there, and so that we just scattered when we got there. My brother came down. I had a brother live in Miami.
Okay.
So he came down to the airport, picked me up. We went up to his house. When I came back to the hotel, the Iron Duke was looking for me.
Okay, all right.
And he said, where you been? I said, I've been over to see my brother, you know what I mean? He said, you got a brother? Yeah, I said, yeah, I went over to see my brother. So he said, do you know that you was elected delegate from the state of Iowa? I said, no. I said, I kind of figured it last night when I talked to Bob back in Waterloo.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's where it really started.
This is a huge deal. This is huge, what you're participating, what you're involved in.
Yeah.
Tell me, what would you come away with this experience? You're back in Iowa.
What would you
come away with this experience?
I come away with a great lot of experience. I came away with dog eat dog, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Politica is a dirty. It is really dirty.
Okay.
Politica is, especially when you're trying to bargain for what you want over there and what you might get out there. See what I mean? I become more strong awakened in my precinct. I come more strong of. I become more aware how to deal with the peoples and how to deal with those. It's a different in that those that know how to vote and those that do not know how to vote. You got to first tell them it's nothing behind that curtain, it's going to hurt them.
Okay, all right.
And nothing behind that curtain is going to hurt them. Whatever decision that they they make behind that curtain, that's you and your guides, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Nobody makes you vote no way that you don't want to vote.
Okay.
When you walk behind that curtain, you have to, nobody there but you. You don't have to hurry. You can take your time. And if you, something that you don't understand, you can back out and ask questions. But a lot of people's afraid to back out and ask questions because that they don't want people to know that they don't know how to vote. See, there's a lot of people that really today that doesn't know how to vote.
Okay. You're in Miami, Florida, and you are you come away from the National Democratic Convention with this wealth of experience, and you take this back and you apply this in the community. In fact, you would be active in the Philip Randolph A. Institute. Give me one example what that's all about, or what you did there.
To educate voters registration and educate to get out to vote.
Okay.
Educate at the poll.
Okay.
So that this organization was a non-partisan organization, so therefore it's that to we couldn't deny anyone this education, whether it was a Democrat, Republican, non-parties, you know what I mean?
Okay.
All will be treated the same.
And so this is good because, again, here's another example of your political activities, which were numerous, because we can't mention them all, unfortunately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you were definitely a force. You were definitely a force during that time period. And I know that you influenced many people who are active today politically. Also, I know you were very active in the community itself as far as just dealing with the youth. With the youth.
Yeah, I dealt with them.
I know there's an example in the metro scene of Wildwood Courier. Here you are working with some students in the garden.
Yeah.
In the garden. Tell me, what was that all about?
Well, during the Community Enables program, which was executive director was Jimmy Porter, and he was trying to broaden his program because the Community Enables was a food program, as most of us was an organization to help people, whether it's doctor bills, whether that's somebody, some person across the country had a family here that died. We helped them finance to get to there, and that too. Then it come up, and Jim came up with the idea that we should have a food program.
Okay.
Well, they was already issuing vouchers that you can go to different places but come up with a fresh vegetable thing that, what I mean, elder peoples was in their homes, was laid up, they couldn't get out, they couldn't plant a garden, that would like to have fresh vegetables during the summer.
And so you guys did that for them. That's what the program was about.
And that was the program was all about. And so that we manpower, we would get 6 peoples every year, school kids, every year for 6-7 weeks. And then that 7 weeks that we could get the garden in and get all the grass out of it and just wait on the harvest, see. So that's what we did. We did that for quite a few years.
And so you're giving fresh fruits and vegetables to the elderly and stuff like this.
Yeah,
this is great.
We have the kids to go out and pick it for them.
Okay.
We had the kids to take it to their house. We got enough money to buy a beat-up pickup truck. And, so that we would pick it and box it up, ass up, and take it around to people's houses. We find out somebody needs some vegetables. We take it to them. And what we like about it, at the end of the day, that everything was left, we would either take it to a center, or either take it to the food bank.
Okay.
So
that's a good program. I like that.
And so I was looking at an article in the paper that I didn't know was in there about the gardens, you know.
Okay.
That I'm standing up there with a lot of kids. Those kids are from Lily Ferguson Daycare Center. Mm-hmm. And so I think that the teacher was Marie Olton. Okay. That was those kids' teacher. And I know she told me once that she said, "I'm gonna bring my kids up to look at the garden." I said, "Well, okay. Well, I'll observe a spot for them to. They can plant anything in there they want to. See what I mean?" And so we did observe the spot. It's just as you come into the garden. That's where we observe that spot for them. And so that them kids planted some of everything in it. I don't know what they planted, but everything in there grow just so beautiful. Grow
you guys had fun with it. Looks like the kids were having a good time. You know, here you are in there getting dirty and working with them.
We didn't know what was in there. They had a stalk of this, a bean of that. I had some of this, some of that in there. And those are kids. And so when it got to the harvest, then that we brought them back to see the kids what they had done. See. Yeah.
Well, now, this one last thing, which I think is very important. I was stunned to know. I caught it, ran across it in the Courier, one article, that talks about a sit-in that took place. It's just 21 found guilty in school sit-in.
Yeah, this was a situation happened when upon the open enrollment of the Waterloo schools, when we started busing kids out of the neighborhood, from the neighborhood schools out into the other schools, to have a balance.
Okay. All right.
A racial balance in those schools.
Okay.
And so these eight girls were at West Intermediate School.
Okay.
And so it's come about that there's something happened over there.
Okay.
And the kids was out in the parking lot when we got there. The kids was in the parking lot when we got there. And so that we wanted to know why was the kids in the parking lot. And there's so many neighbor peoples was all around the school. And, that's, a kid.
This is during desegregation, right? They were just, the open enrollment just started.
The open enrollment,
And so we're talking about what time was this?
71.
And so now you're saying that you arrive and there's a whole bunch of people outside, white people.
When we got there,
a whole bunch of white people who are outside, and they are badgering these 8 black girls.
Well, they wasn't say badgering them, but as these little 8 girls standing there, they got kind of nervous and all like that. See these people staring at them and all like that, and so that we went in and we found out a lot of things had been happening in the school since the kids had been in school. We found out that it was a teacher there. I just remember her name now, but if you look back through that, if you follow that story all the way to the end of it, you found out that she was in there teaching something like she was in there teaching Little Black Sambo and the Preaching Watermelon to some of these young black students.
Oh my goodness! Okay, all right.
And so that's where that was the reason. See, we didn't pick it because of that. About those kids was in the parking lot and couldn't get on the bus. And so that, you know, we had some pretty stubborn peoples was in it, and they was angry too about the little. They say, well, if you can't bring the peoples to the mountain, no, we have to go to the mountain then.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
You have to bring the mountain. You know, you say we got to meet somewhere.
Mm.
You either come or we'll go.
Okay.
So
you're found guilty of what? 21 found guilty of what?
Guilty
21 found guilty of what?
Of the trespassing.
Trespassing. Okay.
Yeah.
You at the administration building?
At the administration building.
Sorry,
We marched from the school. We walked from the school to the administration building.
Okay. So they arrest you guys at the administration building?
At the administration building.
They don't arrest
8 hours after that we got there.
They don't arrest the rioters in the parking lot, but they arrest you at the administration building?
Yeah.
Okay. The 21 blacks?
21 blacks.
Okay.
And one white. All 21 of us was fined $50, which is why somebody paid it for us. I don't know who paid it.
You were fined $50 and you were
I never
guilty.
tried to find out who paid it, but somebody paid it. We didn't pay it. Somebody paid it for us.
It's been fun talking to you.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting stories. I wish we had more time to talk about it. I appreciate everything you've done for the community. You've been very active and instrumental in making a lot of changes for a lot of people. And again, it's been a pleasure. And thank you.
Thank you. All right.